Hi, this is Dawn of Stamp Till Dawn, and I'm doing another Watercolor Wednesday. Today I'm going to show you a quick little wash that you can use on a variety of cards. I'm going to be using our Close to My Heart water brush, which is the medium flat, and it has a water reservoir in it, so you can fill it up. And what's different about this one is this stays in here, so to fill this one up you would want to squeeze it under the water and then let it go, and it'll suck the water into it, whereas our other two styles, the medium round and the small round, the black part's up here, and so you can just pour water right in there. So it's just a little bit different. I'm using our watercolors, and what I like to do with the watercolors is to pre-wet them so that they're nice and milky wet on the top. So I'm going to be using these blues and greens. So I'll take it and do a few spritzes of water. Almost out of water here because I've done this a couple times. And I'll use another water one here I have sitting here. It's a little wider spray. Okay, so you want them nice and milky on top so that you can get the color real good when you go to pick it up. Now I'm going to take my water brush and I'm going to squeeze a little bit of water into it so that the brush gets wet, and then I'm going to do, oops, there's a little blue left on there. I'm going to do a quick little wash on here just to get water onto my card. Then I'm going to go and pick up number 21. This is this light blue right here. Get that on my brush, and I'm going to do the sky. And when I was first designing this card, I kind of was thinking of the river and how there's trees all along the river, and then more water and the blue sky. So I'm cleaning off my brush here. I could, because it's a water brush, I could have just squeezed the water through it, but I kind of like doing it this way. This time I'm going to pick up number 28, which is this green here, and I'm going to add a little water to it because it was getting a little dry. I'm going to put some green on here. And I'm squeezing my brush to kind of put some more water in there, spread the color a little bit better. I'm blending it up with the other ones. Now I'll go back in and get more of this blue here. And I'm doing this on the all-purpose mat, which I love because once I'm done, I can go ahead and move this aside, and then I can just take a paper towel and wipe off where I was painting and go right on with my creating. Now this time I'm going to be stamping on the card, and I'm using the Memento ink, which is kind of not a permanent ink, but it seems very permanent, and so I didn't want to get that on my mat. And I've pre-done a similar card ahead of time, so now I'm just going to show you how to add the stamping on it. I'm using this stamp from the Nature's Wish stamp set, and it has trees and it has some animals and it has quite a few sayings on here. So I've put the trees on a block already, and I'm going to go ahead and ink it up with the Memento ink. Memento is a nice true black, which I really like for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp it on here, and then put it here again in the middle, kind of overlapping it a little bit. And I'm just kind of following the line of the green that I had on my card. And you can see I've just got my line of trees. And the first time I did my card, I was like, oh, that kind of isn't what I was looking for. It was a little too light, like the clouds and the water just matched too much. So I took a drier brush, I kind of wet it a little bit and then get some of the water off of it, and pick up this next one, number 22. It's just a little bit of a darker blue. And then I put kind of like an edge here, so I kind of wanted to make the water line kind of go like this. And so I just added some darker blue in here with kind of a drier brush. And it got a little too dry, so you can put just a little bit more water in it to spread that around a little bit. And it just kind of gave it a little more depth, and plus it kind of made the river kind of look like it was kind of like winding around a little bit more of a beach up there. And so then you can just let that dry. The cool thing about watercolor is when it dries and I say I think I need a little more color or a little bit less, I can go back in and take more or take less off. Like here's one I did before, and say I want to pull off some of this color. Let me just go ahead and get my brush wet. Maybe I have too much, so I can just kind of like pull some of that color off and spread it out a little bit and just keep manipulating the color. So that's kind of one of the forgiving things about watercolor. You can keep adding or subtracting from it. So here's what the finished card would look like. You can just add your saying to it when it dries and mount it on a card. And that is Watercolor Wednesday. See you next week.